Good day, everyone. I'm Ms. Erica Lucivas, and today we are going to talk about how to add mixed numbers. But first, let us try to identify the following. First, what are mixed numbers? Mixed numbers are formed when there is a combination of a whole number and a fraction. For example, 1 and 1/3, 5 and 2/5, 10 and 4/7 are example of mixed numbers since they have whole part and fractional parts. Another term to unlock. What are similar mixed numbers? Similar mixed numbers are formed when the fraction parts are similar. For example, 1 and 1/3, 5 and 2/3, 10 and 4/3 are example of similar mixed numbers since the fractional parts are similar. Third, what are the similar mixed numbers? The similar mixed numbers are formed when the fraction parts are dissimilar. Example, 1 and 1/3, 5 and 2/5, and 10 and 4/7. So these are the similar mixed numbers. Why do we have to identify or describe those three? Because later on we are going to discuss the procedures and how to add these mixed numbers according to their category. So first one, how do we add similar mixed numbers? There are rules that we have to follow. First, you need to add the whole number parts. Second, you need to add the numerators. Third, you need to copy the denominator. And lastly, you simplify if necessary. Let us try to apply these procedures or rules on the following examples. First example, 1 and 2/9 plus 3 and 5/9. Our first rule is we need to add the whole part. So that would mean 1 plus 3. That will give you 4. Next step, you need to add the numerators. So 2 plus 5, that will give you 7. Next, you have to copy the denominator. So the denominator 9 will be put on the denominator. Therefore, our answer is 4 and 7/9. And for the last step, simplify if necessary. Take a look at our answer, 4 and 7/9. Since 4 and 7/9 is already on their simplest form, there is no need to simplify further. Let us now continue to our second example. 3 and 1/3 plus 4 and 2/3. First step, we need to add the whole parts. So 3 plus 4, that is equal to 7. 1 plus 2, that is equal to 3. And then we copy the denominator, 3. Take a look at our answer, 7 and 3/3. 3/3, if you can still remember from our discussion before, when we say 3/3, or when the numerator is equal to the denominator, it is equal to 1 whole. So therefore, there is a need for us to simplify. So that would mean 3 divided by 3, that will give you 1. And since we have a whole part 7, this now becomes a whole. So 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. Therefore, our final answer is 8. Take note, when our fractional part becomes 1 whole, you are going to add it to our whole part. It is possible to have a whole number as our answer when we are working with mixed numbers. Let us continue. So that is how we add mixed numbers with similar fractions. Remember these rules. First, you add the whole number parts. Second, you add the numerators. Third, you copy the denominator. And lastly, you simplify if necessary. Next, let us now move to the second category. How do we add the similar mixed numbers? A while ago, I have mentioned that the similar mixed numbers are mixed numbers whose fractional parts are dissimilar. So we need to follow these rules. First, you need to find the LCD and write the equivalent fractions to make them similar. Second, you need to add the whole parts. Third, you need to add the numerator and copy the denominator. And lastly, you simplify if necessary. Let's continue. 2 and 1/2 plus 1 and 3/7 are the similar mixed numbers. Therefore, we need to find the LCD and change it to equivalent fractions. So how are we going to do that? We need to find the LCD of 2 and 7. by listing down the multiples of 2 and 7 and finding out the common numbers on the list. The first common number on the list, that would be our least common denominator. In this case, that would be 14. Next step, we are going to change our fractions into equivalent fractions using 14 as our denominator. As you can see, we did not change our whole parts since it should be left untouched. So we are going to change our fractional parts only. So we need to multiply the same number to get our equivalent fractions. In this case, we need to multiply by 7 because 2 times 7 is equal to 14. So that would mean 1 times 7. That will give you 7. The same goes to the other fraction. We have to multiply with the same number for us not to change the value. Instead, change it to equivalent fractions. So we need to multiply by 2 because 7 times 2 is 14. So 3 times 2, that's equal to 6. Now that we have similar fractions or similar mixed numbers, we can now proceed to the next step. That is, we need to add the whole part, 2 and 1, that will give you 3. And then we add the numerators, 7 plus 6, that is equal to 13. And then we copy the denominators. For the next step, simplify if necessary. Take a look at our fractional part. Is there a need for us to simplify? Not anymore, since 3 and 13/14 is already in its simplest form. There is no common factor, and the numerator is lesser than our denominator. So we can now proceed to our next example. 2 and 1/2 plus 1 and 2/3. Again, we need to find the LCD by listing down the multiples of 2 and 3. And then we have to identify the first common number that appears on both the lists. That would be our least common denominator. In this case, that is 6. Next, we have to change it into equivalent fractions. Again, our whole part should be left untouched. Okay, so we are going to multiply by 3. Since 2 times 3 will give you 6, we are going to multiply the same number to the numerator. So 1 times 3, that is 3. The same goes to the other fraction. We have to multiply it by the same number. That will make the denominator 6. So 3 times 2, that is 6. So we have to multiply the numerator by 2. So that would be 2 times 2 equals 4. Now that we have similar fractions or similar mixed numbers, we can now proceed to the next step. That is, we are going to add the whole part. So 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3. Then we need to add the numerators. So 3 plus 4, that's equal to 7. And we copy the denominator. Once again, let's take a look at our answer. 3 and 7/14. If there is a common factor in the fractional part, there is a need to simplify. In this case, 7 and 14 has a common factor. That would be 7. So 7 divided by 7 will give you 1. 14 divided by 7 will give you 2, which means our answer should be 3 and 1/2. So that is how you add the similar mixed numbers. Don't forget these rules. First, you need to find the LCD and write the equivalent fractions to make them similar. Second, you need to add the whole parts. Third, you need to add the numerator and copy the denominator. And lastly, you simplify if necessary. So that would be all for today. Don't forget to ask your respective teachers if you still have questions regarding this topic. Remember, together we heal as one and 7. Thank you and good day.